You may be aware that the home loan interest rates are very low and it's the right time for you to buy your first home. It's with great pleasure I'd like to introduce Gaetano, the director of K&F Property, who's going to advise all of you about property. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Derek. It's a pleasure to be here.
Guy, first of all, how can you help our viewers buying their first home?
Well, K&F Property is a home loan advisory service and a specialised real estate company that assists first-time buyers and investors to find a property that suits their particular needs. We operate in Melbourne and we pride ourselves in wanting to understand, first of all, what people need, what they want, what they're looking for, and find the best product on the market that suits their circumstances.
Guy, if I'm a first home buyer, how can you give our viewers and myself an advice buying my first home?
Well, Derek, there are a few challenges for first-time buyers when they approach the market to want to buy a property to live in. It can be very confusing. We think that first-time buyers should follow a process. If they do things in the right order, then the process becomes very easy and headache-free. Many times, first-time buyers tend to jump on the internet to look for information, or they might go to display homes to gather pamphlets and brochures, and they load themselves with information, but it's difficult for them to understand what suits them or not. So we believe that there's a process in doing this, and we start off by doing a plan for the client. This plan entails having a financial model or a financial plan which tells them in advance what they need to do and what to look for when looking for a property.
Now, what I want to ask you, another thing was, what are the biggest challenges home buyers and property investors when buying a property?
Well, we'll start with the first-time buyers.
Right.
Because investors, we need to dedicate a bit more time to that.
Yeah.
First-time buyers, as I mentioned earlier, have to deal with a lot of information. Buying land, what type of house to build, will there be enough money to finance the house?
Yeah.
And they usually, as I said before, go out and look for things and then try to see how to afford it. What we do to help people is show them exactly what needs to be done step by step. So confusion is the big challenge. Not enough clear information from salespeople selling properties, not enough information or not enough clarity from people selling land. Unexpected costs. This creates fear in the home buyer, uncertainty, and a lot of headaches and stress.
Mm-hmm. In other words, you're also in a position to give them confidence.
Correct. This confidence comes from knowing up front exactly what they're going to get into. First of all, we have to look at the finance. How much deposit they have. Is it enough? A lot of people are not aware whether they have enough finance or enough deposit to actually afford a home. This is a big area of confusion. So they'll go out looking for properties without understanding really if they can afford it. So we take a holistic approach to the whole process. We will sit down with a client, find out what deposit they have. If it's not enough, we'll see what they can do with the money they have. Sometimes you can build a home with little or no deposit. It depends on your circumstances. And if there's no deposit at all, we're able to advise on how to put yourself in a position, either by buying off the plan or buying something readily available. There's always a reason why home buyers decide to build a home instead of buying a home. And it's very important, Derek, to understand why they're doing that. And the biggest reasons is because when you buy off the plan, you have savings in stamp duty.
Stamp duty, okay.
Okay. You're eligible for sometimes for a first-time owner's grant of $10,000. And you may be also eligible for a 50% discount on stamp duty on land.
Okay.
Okay, so these combined savings can easily amount to $14,000, $15,000 altogether. And that is, you don't necessarily, and that comes off your deposit. We have to work on every client. Every client is different.
Guy, now if a buyer have a small amount of saving or none at all, how can you help that client?
Well, Derek, we can examine everyone's situation in particular. Having a small amount of deposit or none at all does not necessarily stop people from starting the process of buying their own home. We have helped many people with no deposit or little deposit to start the process.
Guy, how do you borrow the rest of the funds to build a home?
Well, this is the a big question that needs to be answered correctly, and we have to take into consideration legislation and other factors. However, what the banks look at and what we look at as advisors is what your earning capacity is. From that, we take away your living expenses and work out how much disposable income you have. With that, we can determine what amount of loan you can actually take out and service without creating discomfort to your lifestyle and without putting you under duress or distress. Once we've determined that amount, we're able to approach the bank and get a conditional pre-approval. There's no commitment. We do it free of charge to help our clients understand what are the steps in the process they need to take and what exactly they can afford to buy as land and property. So they have sort of a shopping list, if I may say. Yeah. When they know what to look for, how much to spend, it's very easy to avoid confusion. Yeah. Because you will find exactly the right location where you can afford to buy. You understand exactly how big the parcel of land has to be. You understand also how big the house size has to be. And if you work within the boundaries of the budget, then you'll find that your experience of building a home will be a positive one and you will understand it.